A stewardess on a flight notices two African-American passengers. One of the passengers is in pain. The stewardess says, "Can I get you something?" The passenger says, "Small butter laying me to the bone, jacking me up, tight me." The stewardess says, "Sorry, I don't understand." And the other passenger says, "Cuddy can't hang." Our guest on this segment today said, "Oh, stewardess, I speak jive." And the stewardess says, "Oh, thank goodness for that." So our guest tells the stewardess that the passenger is in great pain and can the stewardess help him. And the stewardess tells our guest, "Have him relax. I'll be back as soon as I get some medicine." And our guest tells the passenger, "Just hang loose, blood. She gonna get you up on the rebound on the med side." And the passenger says, "What it is, Big Mama? My mama no raise no dummies. I dug her rap." I just love that line. And finally our guest says, "Cut me some slack, Jack. Chump don't want help. Chump don't get help. Dude don't got no brains anyway." Can you believe this lovely woman was speaking jive? And of course, our guest is Barbara Lillian Combs, known to the world as Barbara Billingsley. There she is. Barbara Billingsley, she was an American film, television actress, and a voice actress and stage actress. She got her start in 1950 in a movie called Careless Years, and then that took her to her most iconic role as June Cleaver on Leave It to Beaver. For those who are watching that might recognize and don't remember. And there she is with Hugh Beaumont, the actor that played her husband on the series. Now this show, she hit her stride with that iconic role from 1957 to 1963, and of course, on the far right, Jerry Mathers is the Beaver, and they called him the Beaver because he couldn't pronounce Theodore. And then Tony Dow on the left, who played Wally, the older brother. So anyway, this show, as I stated, was from 1957 to 1963, and then they had a sequel in 1983 to 1989. So that's kind of a stretch there. Barbara attended Los Angeles Junior College, and she traveled to Broadway. She was in a play called Straw Hat at the very beginning, which only lasted 5 days. So she winds up taking a job for $60 a week as a fashion model in New York. And after she married Glenn Billingsley, that's when she got the MGM contract to do Leave It to Beaver. And of course the rest is history. And there she is, and the two characters in their later years when they had the second series. And when she appeared in Airplane, that resurrected her career because she got typecast for years playing this perfect mom. There she is. And this made her famous for the second time, just like when she was on Leave It to Beaver. And because of this role, this little, what you call, momentary role, she wound up on Mork and Mindy with Robin Williams. And she did some other television shows. Now, Leave It to Beaver was seen in 100 countries around the world. Isn't that incredible for that time? And that's why this show is probably considered the best family show in history. And of course, she's considered the best family mom in television history. And my final words, she also was in a movie called Muppet Babies from 1984 to 1991, playing the voice of the nanny and the little train. She had a dual role in there.
Nice.
And she got the Emmy Award nomination for Best Performer in a Children's Series in 1989 and 1990.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, her final role was playing Aunt Martha. Do you remember they had the invisible Aunt Martha and Leave It to Beaver? Nobody ever knew who this auntie was. Well, she plays the auntie in the 1997 film version of Leave It to Beaver, and her final appearance was in 2003 in a movie called Secret Santa. So
I remember the 1997 Disney Channel Leave It to Beaver. You remember Eric Von Detten?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was Wally. He was the dummy.
the new,
he was I don't want to say that.
90s babe.
Yeah.
Early 2000s Disney babe, Eric Von Detten for sure.
Like, honestly, my favorite movie of his was Brink.
Brink. Oh, it's the best. Let's go Blade, bro. Blading is life.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver, definitely. The 97 movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
For all things considered.
But, you know, it would be impossible, like I usually say with some of these guests, depending on who they are, because her resume is, like, outrageous. But I just had to just condense it down. But she did leave the world not only speaking jive, which people talked about that years later in her career, including Jerry Mathers. They say, hey, this lady's a comedian, she can speak jive. And people were trying to speak jive when that first came out. So
That's funny.
Yeah. And, of course, her greatest role, she'll always be remembered as the best mom in television history, is June Cleaver.
Nice.
I'll stop right there on that note.
Thank you very much, Asaph.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was Musical Notes with Asaph Adonai.
So what do you think about remakes, Noelle? Do you like remakes in general? Because, you know...
Remakes?
Remakes.
Like,
you know, you have old shows, and then you have, like, Will Ferrell's Bewitched, which was like,
I don't really know how I feel about remakes. I think that if they're done, I don't really know.
It's the way they approach it, because 21 Jump Street took a completely different approach from the actual series with Johnny Depp, even though Johnny Depp was in 21 Jump Street, spoiler.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. I
used to watch the show when I was in high school. I'd come home or skip school and just watch it. As well as, did you guys ever see Renegade?
I remember that barely.
Oh, Renegade. Vincent Black.
I remember Land of the Lost. Not the old school one, but there was a 90s Nickelodeon version of it.
Oh, yeah.
And the song was Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
Alone. It just depends.
And then it says, Welcome to the Land of the Lost.
I think it depends, too. Like, I don't know. I think it all depends
honestly,
on how they approach
if they made Leave It to Beaver like right now, I can totally see it like being handled by like Seth Rogen and those guys. Jonah Hill is like a grown up beaver, and then Seth Rogen would be Wally.
Yeah.
And then be like,
yeah, it would be silly.
It'd be completely like off the rails.
It really would, yeah.
That's the only way it could be. Like a lot of times, it's like remakes of movies are just basically parodies of the original, and it would be just like, okay, we're just gonna go like a hard R with this, which is completely opposite of Beaver would be. Yeah. So, anyways, that was my little.
That's a good question.
It's making me think. What if you were to remake Leave It to Beaver? Would it be appropriate for today's youth? Would
Probably
the youth be
not.
like,
I think it would be outdated and irrelevant because that family was so perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a show like Law and Order these days.
They were perfect.
I mean, shows that have just like no like controversy, no drama is like people are not engaged with that kind of people. A lot of people don't like that. Like everything's great, everything's happy. Because I watched a show where